Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, hi, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and in this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about embroidering this tote bag. It's from Land's End. It's a heavy canvas and it's a little tricky, so I wanted to share with you guys how I'm actually going to embroider this. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the hooping and also the type of embroidery that I'm actually going to do on this bag. So as I stated before, this is a Land's End bag. This is very heavy canvas, okay? And one of the things that the customer wants to do is they want to be able to embroider a word in the middle above the pocket, as you can see right here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, one of the things to pay attention closely is the contents of the inside of the bag. As you can see, this is a zipper bag, so it has this little area right here. So you want to make sure that you don't just go ahead and hoop this and embroider right on top of it, okay? Because you don't want to embroider the name and then close this shut and then the customer can't lift this, all right? So you want to make sure that you have this out of the way. The other thing is this is pretty heavy and it also has these little strap ends on the end. So I usually use my mighty hoops for almost everything, but right now for this particular project, I really don't think the mighty hoops are really going to help me, okay? And this is not going to work for me. So let me show you why, okay? Because I love the mighty hoops, but the thing is sometimes you have to know exactly what tools to use and when. So let's talk about this. So as you can see, very thick, okay? Pretty heavy. I'm going to have to get this out of the way. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I do have a hoop that is 6.5 inches of a mighty hoop. And as you can see, these are very strong magnetic hoops. I use them for practically everything that I embroider. However, though, look what happens if I'm going to use this for this type of embroidery. I'm lifting this up, okay? I'm not putting any stabilizer in because I just want to show you. Okay, normally I would use tearaway stabilizer, but as you can see, I have my two things here, putting it in the middle. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to smack this. So as you can see, it kind of, it can feel the magnets, okay, but it's not a very strong hold, okay? I mean, it's not, see, it easily comes out, all right? And it's for several reasons, all right? First of all, there's a lot of layers in here. I could use a smaller hoop, okay, and I think it probably will hold a little bit better, but because I have these straps in the way and I need something that's going to be able to hold this whole thing, these mighty hoops are not going to work for me, okay? So it's too thick. There's just too much in the way. You have these things, and it's if you look at it, see how this kind of goes on here? That's what kind of prevents the actual contact between the metals because it's just too bulky, okay? So this is not going to work for me, and that's okay, all right? So this is where, this is where other hoops come into play, okay? This is where you have to look at your fast frames. Fast frames love these, all right? So this is what I'm going to use in order for me to embroider this bag. Because I'm using the fast frame, I'm going to use sticky stabilizer. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just, let's stabilize the fast frame so you can see how I actually do it. Okay, this is the top area. Let me cut this correctly here. And I want to make sure real quick that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, and you can. All right, so I'm going to make sure that this is cut straight. Okay. This is more than enough. This is the sticky part. Turning this upside down. And I'm going to place this over. Stick it at the bottom. And then I do overlay here. That's why sometimes these get really, really dirty, okay? I always like to keep my tools clean. That's just who I am, okay? I don't like having tools. I understand some people have, you know, very, very busy and they just don't have time to clean it. But I get that way too. And so I'm not going to come out and say that they're spotless all the time. There have been times when I have to keep going. But then when I do have the opportunity, I always like to clean these. To clean these, I use Go-Go Gone because this is a lot of adhesive. Go-Go Gone, pretty greasy, but it does help to keep it neat. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Okay, so I have my sticky stabilizer. As you can see, very, very sticky. This is going to help to keep my bag exactly where I want it, all right? So I'm going to put this aside for now, and let's go back to the bag. All right, so what the customer wants is the customer wants a saying on here, okay? It's going to be above the pocket of the tote bag, all right? So this is where it's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to tape it exactly where it should embroider. And before I do that, I actually want to make sure that I'm kind of centering this the best way I can. So this is 1 inch. And yep, I need to move it over just a little bit. Always do this. Always try to make sure that you have this centered as best as possible. And I do. It's 1 inch. This is perfect right here. And then I also want to make sure that I have this aligned correctly up and down. And I do have a special ruler that I like to use for that section. Okay, so now I know that this is the best area. So now I'm going to use that. Make sure. There you go. All right, so once I know exactly where I want my word to go, I use painter's tape and I tape down my template because I don't want this to move because I'm going to have my machine scan. Now, the machine that I have has a scanning capability where it can actually scan this and it'll embroider exactly where the template is. Okay, so I always like to do this, and I always like to make sure that I have my template exactly where I need it. I don't want it to shift anywhere. This is not going to stay while I'm embroidering. Okay, this is just to scan it, but I want to make sure that it scans correctly. Now I have this in here. So now that I have this in here and stuff, we're going to now go and we're going to talk to you guys how I'm going to place this, okay? I'm actually going to put this in the machine, or you can actually hoop it now if you want, but something to be very conscientious about, okay, is when you're embroidering tote bags, always look inside, and you want to become familiar with what the inside looks like. As you can see, this has pockets, okay? So I want to make sure that when I am embroidering the word, I'm not embroidering shut any of these pockets that you see in here. And you want to make sure also that when I'm embroidering, this is not like this, and then I'm embroidering this shut, okay? This has to come out, all right? So you want to make sure you pull all that stuff out. So to do this correctly, what I like to do is I like to do this way, and then I like to put in my hoop. Okay. And I know that the place that I'm embroidering is not going to, you know, the hoop has plenty of space on both ends to embroider the word. And then I go ahead and I press down. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's actually going to put the bag on the stabilizer. None of this is going to shift. So now I can take this over to the machine and I can embroider it. So I just wanted to show you guys how you can see how it is. And this is not going to shift. So I guess what I really want to point out in this video is, as much as I love using these hoops, these are not the only solution, okay? If, you know, you have to sometimes invest in other tools to get the job done. So as much as I like these, because of these little handle strips, too much layers are interfering with the magnet. So this is not going to work. But if you have a flat, sorry, not a flat frame, a fast frame with sticky stabilizer, this works great. This is not going to shift while it's embroidering. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to look great. It's going to embroider really, really nicely. So now I'm going to load this baby on the machine. I'm going to scan it, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to embroider it. So let's head over to the machine and let's see how it comes out. Okay, guys, so here I am at the machine, all right? And as you can see, I am putting in my fast frame, okay? And I'm going to pay attention to this. This is pretty heavy, okay? If you have the tubular tool, you can use that to give it a little bit more support. I have it. I'm not going to use it. I don't mind holding it because I'm not going to walk away from this anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to have it look for the, let me just put this on here. I'm going to have this look for my scan. So let me cancel this so that you can see, in case you're new and this is your first time working on this type of machine. It has a little snowman feature. I'm going to hit that and then I'm going to hit OK. This is exactly how the template looks. See how I have my little snowman right there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit OK. And as you can see right here, this is where the camera is. And this is actually going to see where I have my little snowman. And it's going to make whatever adjustments it needs to make in order for it to be there. Now that I already have this and I have this nice and taut, okay, I am good to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, as a matter of fact, before I remove it, let's do a quick trace. Okay, I just want to see. And I am going to squish this down a little bit because I'm going to hold it like this just so you can see. I don't know if you guys can see it. You can squish the bag like this and you can hold it like this. See how I have it in my hand? Okay. And I'm just going to hold it that way. It's nice. And then I'm just going to trace. And as you can see, I can already tell the bag is not going to go anywhere. Yep. And it looks like it's nice and straight. It's fine. Okay. I'm going to hit embroider. And then I do want it to embroider on needle number 1. So I'm going to make a little switch here. Okay. Because it's not really going to be black thread. They want like a little, it's like a linen color thread. So I'm going to take this out. And then what I'm going to do now is I have this on here. I'm just going to smooth it out really nice and stuff. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the process to go ahead and embroider. This is like a 9-minute stitch. It's not that long. But like I said, the whole thing about this is to make sure that you're using the right stuff to embroider this on. You know, the right items and stuff. And hold it. If you have the tubular, I kind of recommend you do that. I should have put that on there. I think this would have held it a little bit better. As a matter of fact, let me take this out and I'm going to actually do it with the, no, you know what? It's on. I'm here. I'm going to hold it. Let's just rock and roll. It's just 9 minutes. I can stay here for 9 minutes and embroider it. Okay, so let me move you up a little bit so that you can see it actually embroider. I will fast forward this so that way you're not standing here for 9 minutes watching the whole thing. Okay, so... All right, so I'm going to go ahead, hit, and I'm going to start. all finished, all done. Let me take it out of the machine. Let's go to the cutting board and let's take a look at the final product, okay? All right, guys, so I'm going to take it out of the machine and I'm going to walk it over to the cutting board. I know the camera's already facing that way. And here we go. Here it is. Let me make sure that you guys can see exactly how it looks. This is the color thread they wanted. They wanted it to stand out, but they didn't want it to stand out too much. So I think it came out perfect. Looks really, really nice. I'm going to take this out here. And if, I don't know if you guys noticed during the video, and you may not because I was doing it really fast. Don't put your fingers in the area while it's sewing. I always get like little chopsticks or something like that. Inexpensive way for you to go ahead, hold down fabric without you losing your fingers, okay? Remember, fingers don't grow back. So there you go. Alrighty. Let me move this on the side. And let's look at the inside so that you guys can see. Okay. As you can see, it did not interfere with the inside of the pocket. This is not sewn in, okay, because you don't want to sew it like this because then this would have sewn that shut. But came out really nice. And nicely centered exactly where I wanted it. And it's perfect. It's perfect, guys. Nice and centered. There you go. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Easy pleasy. So guys, hope you liked this video. And if you did, please give me that thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing because I am all about machine embroidery. And I host Embroidery Happy Hour every Friday, 8 o'clock, where I'm either working on a project and you can watch me while I work on it, or I'm talking about things that you should be concerned and, you know, just talking about embroidery business, running an embroidery business from home. So anyway, guys, if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have that hype button, please hype it and stuff. So that way I can share the knowledge with a lot of other people out there. So have a good one. Enjoy. And you know what? These are fun to do. Okay, so have fun embroidering those tote bags. Happy sewing and happy embroidering. Bye.